Hey everybody, this is Blake, your Market Center Tech Trainer, and today we are going to be deep diving into Docusign. There is a huge crowd here today. We have at least 15 seats filled. We're going to be moving along. We're going to be talking about what process that we're going to use inside of Command to be able to go from the very beginning of a listing presentation, not listing presentation, but the very beginning of listing documentation to the end, to the closed documents. So we're going to be going from Command into Docusign, back into Command. So join me. We're going to have a good time. If you have any questions, please email me later on after you watch the video, or if you join us later, we can talk about it then. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to log into Command. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So everyone can see my screen now. I'm inside of Command, and we are going to pretend that I've met someone in a drugstore and they have invited me over to their home. I saw their home and they want to list with me. Great. So what do we do? The first thing we're going to do is we're putting them in as a contact. So I'm going to go to contacts, which is this person in a box, the second icon inside of Command on the left-hand side. I'm going to hide my video panel. There we go. And I'm going to click add contact. And this is going to be Julia Childs. Now, when I create a contact, I only actually need a name. I don't need any more information besides that. The more information you have, the better, because then you're going to allow marketing possibilities to happen to those people with more information. If you just have the name, nothing goes out to it. So please put as much information as possible into these contacts. I'm going to just have Julia in here for now, and then I'm going to click create. So Julia is the homeowner. She is going to be listing with me. And after I've created her, I'm going to go to opportunities, which are the two shaking hands. So I click on the shaking hands. And I'm brought into opportunities. So opportunities are where our pipelines live. So we have a listing pipeline, a buyer pipeline, a leases pipeline. In this office, we don't focus on leases. We focus on listings and buyers. So we are doing a listing. Let's take a quick look at what the pipeline phases are. The first phase is cultivate, which is where you're growing your relationship with them. The second phase is appointment. And that is you've literally started talking about, can I come over and see your home to see what it's worth? The third phase is active, which means you have documentation signed with them that you are listing their home and that you're actively showing it to potential buyers. Under contract is that contract has been signed by both parties and you're moving through fairly quickly to, well, hopefully quickly, to the end of your transaction. And then we come to closed, which is going to be documentations regarding the final statement, your closing checks, and the new deed. We are going to create an opportunity now by clicking the Create Opportunity button. I'm going to choose my market center, so I'm in Inglewood, and then the opportunity type is going to be listing, buyer, landlord, or tenant, so this is going to be listing. The owner is the agent that is working on this, so you would be the owner unless you were on a team. If you are on a team, the case may be that the team Rainmaker is the owner. But most single agents, it'll be that agent themselves. In the client, I'm going to start typing her name, Julia Childs. And if I had a person connected to her, such as a spouse, family member, friend, it would show up in this co-seller, and I could choose from that co-seller. With the opportunity name right below the client selection box, it automatically fills in the client name as the opportunity name. We don't want that. I'm going to actually change it to her address instead. And the reason we don't want that name in there is we could have multiple properties from one person. If we have an investor, maybe they're listing 15 properties with you. Yes, 15, one go. That's a dream. Oh, that'd be so nice, 15 properties at once. But if you all call it, let's say it's Joe Smith, the investor, you'd have 15 Joe Smiths. How are you supposed to keep them separated? So I would go by address. You can include the name in there if you want to, but address is going to be the simplest way, in my opinion. Just put the street address. So let's call this 9876. We'll say Williams Street. And then we come down to custom tags. Custom tags are a way we can use to, inside of our reports, to kind of separate and group up into specific areas. So let's say this might be a luxury listing. I would have a luxury tag. And I can show you what tags I have in here. So I have land for all my land listings, luxury, maybe it's part of my family. Test, maybe it's my property. Maybe they have something to do with pets. If they want a pet-centric neighborhood, this is something we could go with. Class, so on and so forth. You can create any types of tags you want. And to create the tag, I'm going to click in this custom tags box. And I just realized I'm going super fast. So I'm going to slow down just a little bit. So the custom tags, I'm going to, let's make up a tag. I'm going to say water. Is waterfront one or two words? I think it's one. Thank you. So I just typed in waterfront luxury. I don't have that tag already, so I can click create waterfront luxury. And I'll do that, and now it has been created. Estimated close date, this isn't required. Anything required is going to have a red asterisk next to it. So like opportunity name, that is a red asterisk, it's required. Client has a red asterisk, that is required. Opportunity type, required. Commission rate required, opportunity stage required, and phase required. So we might not have an estimated close date yet because we're just listing this property. So how would we know? We don't. The estimated listing price, though, we've done a little research at this point. We looked at the neighborhood, pulled some comps. I can probably estimate that her house is going to go for 1.2 million because it's a waterfront luxury listing. So 1.2 million. And now we come over to commission rate. That is required. And it's going to be your half of the commission. So if you're planning on listing at 6%, they only want to know what portion you're taking. So maybe you're giving 3% to the buy side, so you put 3%. Maybe you're giving 2% and you put 4%. It's really going to be how you decide that's going to go and how you want to have that negotiated. So I'm just going to go with 3. I like to go right down the middle. And then we're going to come to opportunity phase. So we're not cultivating with her when we're about to go for an appointment to start our listing paperwork. So I'm going to say we're in the appointment phase together. And the opportunity stage is going to be scheduled because we haven't met yet, but it's scheduled on the books. Now my stages may be different because I have edited these, and I'll show you how to edit these stages, or the stages in a moment. I'll click create. So now we have created the listing and we are inside of the opportunity. So the first tab right here is the details tab. Right above the details tab, it's going to say select from listings. This is after you've put it into the MLS. It's not going to populate until your name is on that property in the MLS. Once you do put it in the MLS, come back in here, select from listings, and go ahead and select it. That way it's connected inside of the KWLS. It just makes life easier when you have it connected. If I come down to the general information box, I can edit any of this information by clicking the pencil button in the corner. It's going to be on the upper right-hand corner of the general information box. So this pencil right there. Let's see. I'm going to edit some information. I'm going to click the pencil. Scroll down. So the appointment was scheduled. What date was that scheduled? We'll say it was scheduled yesterday, and the appointment is for today. Now the agreement one, let's see, we're meeting. Awesome, they want to list with us. So that was the quickest meeting we've ever had. They knew they already wanted to work with us. So we won the agreement today as well. The rest, I'm going to click save. So now that we've won the agreement, we need to have the paperwork written up. So I'm going to click Documents. Then I'm going to choose Pick Checklist Type. And I can either choose residential or vacant land. And I'm going to choose residential. And now I have 3 separate folders that have different sets of requirements inside. So I'm on the listed paperwork right now. And right now we have required the exclusive listing agreement, required residential listing form, required seller's property disclosure, required KWRG property information and agreement for our sellers real estate, optional seller's estimated expenses, required copy of county tax record, required copy of deed from county records, required MLS printout, and then required home warranty accepting or waiving. I moved on to some conditionals here. There's a lead-based paint disclosure that might be conditional. And the condition is going to show up if you hover over the little I next to the word conditional. So it says required if home was built before 1978. Conditional requirement for MLS waiver if they do not want to be listed in the MLS. HOA community disclosure rider is conditional if it is part of an HOA. Condo association disclosure rider is required, or it's conditionally required if it's a condo listing that has a condo association. KWRG frequently asked questions is optional. And then the referral agreement is conditional if there is a referral. So that is the listing paperwork. Now, there are little DS's next to some of these. And what that DS means, it stands for Docusign. And that means when I click this start a transaction, these documents are going to be automatically pulled into my room for me. So I do not have to search for these. It's automatically, boom, right there, ready to go. So let's go ahead and hit start a transaction. It's going to take me into Docusign. And see, I already have several required documents in here for me. Now, we need to get that listing agreement filled out and signed. So I'm going to click open the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. This is consent to transition to transaction broker. There are different types of listing agreements that you can have. This is the one that the broker would like us to use. So that is the exclusive right of listing sale listing agreement for and consent to transition to transaction broker. All right, let's fill this out. So Julia Childs, her information was already pulled in from command. So if you put more information in here, the more information that will come through. The broker, Keller Williams Realty Gold, broker. Authority to sell property. Seller gives broker the exclusive right to sell and real personal property described below at the price described below beginning. So these are the dates at the start and the end of the agreement. So it's going to start on, well, they want us to start on Monday, 21st, and we're going to end on, let's give it 6 months. That's 1, 2, 6. We'll do in September 21st. And we're going to put in the address. So that was 9876 Williams Street. All right, so I just put the address in here. If I hover over this, it's going to tell me what exactly that box is. So right now it has property address 1, so that's the street address. And then here's property address 2, that would be any unit number or floor that may be required to go on the address. This is the property city, state, and then zip code. The legal description, where would we find the legal description? We can find it through the MLS. We're actually going to go to the county's website to pull it from there, though, because it's going to be exactly as the county has it, because we're going to copy and paste it. So I don't have access to the MLS. I can't show you how to do that. Pat, our productivity coach, she can show you how to pull that, though. So the legal description, you'll go in. Actually, I can go to CC Appraiser and I can pull something. Charlotte County Property Appraiser. Sarasota property is going to be a little bit different. There are still links inside of your MLS that will take you there. But I use Charlotte County Property Appraiser, one in Charlotte County. And I can click on record search, real property. Then it's going to ask me for a number. So I'm just going to use the office address because I can. See, this is not right. That's just a number. This is so these record searches can be a pain in the butt. I'm just gonna go try this. We are called, what are we called? This is us. Excuse me. So we are inside of the Charlotte County Property Appraiser. And I'm going to look for the legal description, which is, here it is. It says legal description, and I take the long legal description. Do not take the short legal. Take the long. Now, when you're filling it inside of Docusign, though, it is only so long and it does not wrap around to the next line. So what you can do is I'm going to click see attachment instead, and I'm going to copy and paste this legal description to the listing agreement instead, because this is way too long. This is not going to fit inside of the agreement. So I'm just literally copying and pasting. Copy. And I'm just going to pull up I can either use an addendum and have it in the addendum, or I can post it. I can paste it at the bottom of this. Maybe, yeah, you could do it in the additional terms and just say, oh, legal description. See how it doesn't wrap around? It just cuts it off. So NEBEGNE. Let's try to go to this 12. Oh, it's not like that. That 12. I'll take that 12. Oh no. And L. Where's the L at? Sure. HWL2. Oh, the excitement of figuring this out. So.
Your loan legal was short then.
Mhm.
Like if it was short enough, you could split it.
Yes, yes, you can. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So this is just a very long one for some reason. Most of them are not this long, but you want to put that whole thing in there.
Okay.
Because that way they're like, oh, okay, well, it's specifically written in there from the county that you can't get in trouble for it. A lot of this is so you don't get in trouble with the law and say, oops, I sold someone else's property. And that's why you want that in there. But yeah, the long legals for, let's say, new builds are not going to be that long. It's going to be, it'll fit in that one first line. Because there's nothing really there. But you understand what I'm trying to say. I'm just copying and pasting the whole thing. Okay, so I'm not going to continue this then. And I'm going to come back to here and I'm just going to say see attachment and I'm going to say additional terms. Okay. So personal property, including appliances, microwave, stove, fridge. Oh, what else we got? Sink. Well, garbage disposal. Yeah, dishwasher, thank you. Yeah, be very specific when you write these things because some clients will take if it's not written down. Like there have been people who will take the kitchen sink, toilets, all that kind of stuff. They can't do that. Yes. Yes. If they do that, they can take that toilet, but they have to replace it with another one. Some people like their toilets. You find a comfortable one, you got to keep it. I know. Occupancy is or is not currently occupied by a tenant. So this is if it's a rental. I say it's not. And then we come down to price and terms. Price. I gauged it at about 1.2 million. They wanted 1.5, but I told them a lot of the comps don't work out to that. So we're going to say that we settled on 1.295 instead, and we have room to come down. So 1,290,000. Whoops. 200. What kind of financing are you willing to accept? Cash, of course. Conventional, yes. VA, sure. FHA, no, won't accept that. Other, no. Are we going to give seller financing? No. Is it going to have an assumption of existing mortgage? Probably not. So like I'm going to tell you guys, I already told Haven and the 14 other people that are in here. I cannot teach you what to put in here. I can only teach you how to put it in. That makes sense. So I can't tell you exactly how the negotiation should work. What I'm showing you is, to best of my knowledge, correct, but double check with the PC coach and the broker to see that it is correctly being filled in. Please attend broker classes that go over listing agreements and any type of contracts. So let's see here. So we're going to use a lockbox. We're not going to withhold verbal offers. We will withhold all offers once seller accepts the sales contract for the property. Remember, these are all things you're going over with your client while you're filling this out, or you can just get the answers and come back and fill it out. Virtual office websites, we want to let that happen. Sell applications, great. Compensation, this is very important. So this is going to be whatever you've negotiated. You can say you're listing at 6%, 5%, anything below 5%, you need permission to list that low. So you can go to 5% without any permission needed. But if you want to go to 4%, you need to get permission from the office to be able to do that. Does that make sense?
And then you still.
Yep. That's why we like to list at 6%, and so we can have a fair split. We have seen it where people will list at 4%, offer 1% to a buyer's agent, and then take 3% for themselves. Yeah, it's not pretty, but this is the kind of market that happens. So we've seen it more and more. We've also been seeing agents pass on their transaction fees to the other side. So they have to pay for those as well. So I'm kind of like, are you kidding me? So let's see, we're going to do 6. I'll say 6% for option consideration. We're not leasing, so we're not going to do that. So this part right here, this is important. I'm not sure how to fill that out. Once again, talk to the PC coach or the broker. PC coach is Pat here at Inglewood Gold or Realty Gold. Our broker is Murray Coleman, and they can tell you. This box tells you how long after if it's terminated that you will still get paid if they go with another brokerage for some reason. So I would say, I'm going to say 180 days. We'll leave that alone. So here's the cooperation with compensation to other brokers. You want to make sure that these boxes are checked as well as entering in the percentage. So right now I go half, 3%, 3%. So this last box is a non-brokerage relationship. You can choose to either put 1%, 3%, 2%, whatever you'd like. I was trained to put 1% in there. And then we come down to single agent notice. That's great. Okay, we don't fill anything in there. All right. So we just filled out our listing agreement. And I'm going to click Save and Close. Now I'm going to refresh this page because that will now transfer a lot of information into other pieces of paperwork that we have. So the KWRG real estate, let me open this up for a second. KWRG real estate property information agreement for sellers of real estate. You'll see that her name comes across and the address is now also in here. Home warranty inspections, we don't have to do any of that. Great. We don't have to fill anything out. That's what I mean. We have to have this signed. Residential listing form for entering it into the MLS. I'm still waiting to see if we can forego this certain document because it is a long, it's 13 pages. And you have to fill this out. Then you have to fill it out, the same stuff in the MLS. So I'm seeing what can be done to change that. So I go through, fill this out. And then I click Save and Close. Then I'm going to go to real seller's property disclosure. This is going to look kind of scary, but the only thing you have to fill in is their name and their address if it hasn't already been filled in. Because we do not touch anything over here. This is all for the client to fill out. Yep. we're just filling in actually just the address, not even their name. And we can't even select this. This is for the sellers to fill out up at the top here. And then they'll fill in all these check boxes. And they'll do that in the signature packet that you send. Here's their name right there that you sent to them. We go on to wire fraud prevention notice. We look at this. So far, there hasn't been a lot of heavy paperwork that we filled out, just that listing agreement. Okay, good. Save and close. All right, so all this paperwork looks good. I need to go get my signatures now. So I'm going to select in the corner each checkbox. Actually, I'm not going to do this one because that's going to take forever. And I'm also not going to do the seller's property disclosure. I'm doing this in interest of time because otherwise we're going to be here for more time than you think. Try like 10 o'clock at night. So we're good. Now, once I have the documents that I have selected that I want signed, I'm going to click on this create envelope button. It looks like a pen.
I'm sorry. Normally that you would send that other because I saw.
Yes, normally you would. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good question. Yeah. So the reason not sending it's just it's a lot of information that it's going to take too much time to fill out here for the class.
Okay.
But both of those are required as of right now too. So we are inside of an envelope now. And I want you to think of an envelope like an actual physical envelope. Once you seal it and put it in a mailbox that's not yours, you can't get it back, right? You can go to your mailbox, pull it out, but if you drop it off in the middle of the street in that mailbox, it's gone. You can't get it back. It's away. So think of it like that. I'm going to give this a name. So these are my listing documents. You're the only person that's going to see the envelope name. So I'm going to call this listing docs. And each envelope is individual for each room that you're working with. And the room is what all this area that we're in is called for Docusign. So each room for one property. Okay, now I'm going to come down to add recipients to the envelope. I'm going to click add recipient. And I have 3 selections here. I want pre-tagged roles. Pre-tagged roles allow me a lot of, they cut out a lot of work. That's what I mean. They give me more freedom with my time because they're going to automatically assign signature boxes and initial boxes for us. That's awesome. I love that because then I don't have to drag and drop. Many agents that don't come to the classes or watch the videos do room participant and they have to drag and drop everything. And I go, no. Use pre-tagged roles and it's going to do it all for you. And they go, what? Like, yeah, you should have come to class. So all you Zoom people out there, thanks for watching, but I would love if you'd come here in the classroom. I'm going to say seller 1. I'm going to select them because that's Julia. And then I'm going to select listing agent because that's me. And then I'm going to come over to the drop down for seller 1. I'm going to choose Julia. And you'll notice that Julia doesn't have an email address because I didn't put one in command yet. And that's okay because we're going to put the email address in a second. And then we come to listing agent, which is going to be this drop down box. And we're going to choose myself. And then I'll click add selected. You may ask me, why don't we include the listing broker? In the state of Florida, we represent the listing broker. So we don't need their authorization to list the property. I click add selected, it adds them in here. Now we need to add an email. So I'm going to put my other email in here. So I put my other email and then I'm going to come over to needs to sign. That's exactly what she needs to do is needs to sign, but she could also do it needs to view, receive a copy, specify a recipient, which would just be another box for someone to receive, and then witness for signer. We're going to leave that on needs to sign. When would somebody just need to view it?
So you make sure everything's accurate.
Yeah, and that could be, it could also be our third parties. It could be insurance. It could be mortgage lenders. Usually we're going to send a copy to them though. So needs to view might just be if she was an older woman, maybe her kid wanted to see it before she signed it. So they might just view it. Mhm. Most cases, I wouldn't use needs to view, just be receives a copy. Okay, so I leave them both needs to sign. Over on the left-hand side, you're also going to see two boxes with the number 1 in it. This is the signing order. So as long as these are both the same number, that means these two people are going to be receiving the paperwork at the same time. And they can sign it both at the same time. If this box was number 2, number 1 would receive the paperwork first, then sign it, then it would be sent to number 2. I like to have them all the same number because otherwise one person can hold up everybody else. And there's no reason for that to happen. So I'm going to have them both number 1, so they receive it at the same time. I'm going to write a message out to them now. So email subject. Sign. Oh, I should also say that that MLS form wouldn't be filled out until you have the listing agreement signed anyways. You will afterwards, after listing agreement is signed. I'm sorry. Yes. So the process is you get the listing agreement first, and you can send over the wire fraud at the same time. You can send over seller's disclosure, but you can't send in the real property. You can send over, but that MLS sheet you can't, because you can't list it in the MLS until you have that listing agreement. So, okay. So I typed out my message and I'm going to hit the next button. Once I hit next, it's going to bring me into an editing area. And I can edit the signing fields in here. So Julia is the seller. So we can't change anything here, but there's an initial box in here that I have to have initialed. So right now it's always marked as optional. I'm going to click on it to select it. And on the right-hand side, it's going to give me some options. I can change recipients here. So I could change it to me if I wanted to. Or I can make it a required field. And once I make it a required field, it becomes a solid color. This is something that is required, the home warranty. And when I say required, it means they either have to accept it or decline it. And you have the documentation to prove that. Same thing with the home inspection. This says optional. I'm going to change this to required. Okay, good. I'm going to keep coming down here. The wire fraud. Good. Here's the actual listing agreement. Initials, good. 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 Good, good. Good. Okay. So now that I've seen that it's finished and it's correct, I can click send. If I want, so right now on the right hand or on the left hand side though, this is all for Julia. Julia has these specific fields assigned to her right now. So if I wanted to add another initial box for Julia, I could just drag it over. I could drop it wherever I want it. If I want another initial box for myself, I switch my name up at the top and I can drag that here. And it's going to be the same thing for any of these fields. So let's say if I wanted my name in here, I can drag name. My name's going to pop up down here. I don't want it there. If, for instance, like this one, I don't want this field here, I'll click on it, and then I'll just click the delete button, and it'll get rid of it. I can put in text boxes, check boxes, drop-down menus, radio buttons, and a payment item. I can also have a drawing, formula, attachment, note, approve, or decline. So these, I don't need this. I'm going to delete that. Don't need this. Delete that. Okay. Now, since we're also in the editing field, you're going to receive offers from agents through email, and it's going to be a PDF. And you're going to upload that PDF, and you're going to bring it into this editing area so you can mark it to mark it up if you need to. So let's say, for instance, if this was a contract and I wanted to just cross out the word miscellaneous and put something else here, I'm going to be in this editing field, and I'm going to click pre-fill tools. And then there's the line tool. So I'm going to click on line, see the red begins. I click and I just drag across it. That's going to cross that out. I'm going to now bring a text box in to replace the word I want right above it or right near it. And I'm going to write the word. Some stuff. And then I can click, well, actually, I need to get initial boxes to approve my change. So I'm going to go back to my, not custom, but my standard fields, switch this to Julia's name, and get that initial in there. So she can say that, yes, she agrees to that. So now I'm going to send it. Once it's sent, we're in the envelope area, and it shows me that I have a doc or a envelope out there, and it needs my signature. This will happen for you as well if you have to sign something. So I'm going to click needs my signature. It's going to tell me what documents need it and who's in the recipients. I'm going to click sign. And then I'm going to click the word continue. And then I'm going to click the start button. It's going to take me to the first place that I, as the agent, have to sign an initial. And I'm going to click finish. So now it says waiting on others. I'm going to go to my email. Oh. So see, it shows your listing documents right here for the email. I'm going to switch over to my personal. Here's my listing documents. This is for we're pretending to be Julia now. I click agree, continue, press that start button. So Julia is acknowledging Julia Child. So it's going to give them the full name up here with initials. They can change it in these boxes if they need to. They can either select a style, they can draw, or they can upload their own signatures. So I'm going to click change style. Let's give her something a little Julia Childs. Ah, this one. This feels more Julia Childs. I'm going to say adopt an initial. Oh, it initialed it. Then she's just going to go through and sign some more. Initial, initial, initial. All right, we've just signed all the documents. She must hit that finish button, and she's going to ask, they're going to ask, do you want to save a copy? They don't have to because you're going to be sending them a copy anyways. Say no thanks. They need to see this screen to show that they are finished. If they don't see this, you finished signing, then something may have gone wrong. It's very important that you tell them, you know you're done when you see the sign that says you finished signing. Oh, great. So now if I'm back in my envelope here, I'm going to refresh this. I'll refresh it one more time. It sometimes takes a few minutes for it to catch up. Come on. Come on. Okay, I'm just going to give it a second. We're going to wait. So Docusign is pretty easy. It's not stressful. It's very straightforward. You do this, and this, and you send it off. Okay, let's try this again. Really? Because I signed it. See, it shows that your document has been completed, but I should be getting it inside of. Here, come on. It's not right. Why is this not? This is interesting. For some reason, it's not syncing up that it's been signed, and yet here is completed documents right here showing that it's been signed. Yeah. This is strange. It also emailed this email that, because this is my agent email, that they've been signed. It even shows when your client views the listing documents or whatever envelope that it is. But for some reason, this is not picking up. It is 21. Capital R, capital E. Yeah. Come on. I apologize. I don't know why this is not. Let's try this. I'm going to log out and then log back in, because I have copies of the completed ones. This is very odd. Well, we have the copies right here. It says all signers completed it. It should show up in here with another copy of the form that was sent with a green check mark in the corner at the lower right hand corner. Instead of room, it'll just say signed with a green mark. Not good. Let's try. I'm going to try resending it real quickly because this is not. No, it says done. Sync with e-sign. Okay. Excuse me. I'm going to switch over to e-signature. Now, this usually doesn't happen. So we are in an area, we're in the e-signature area right now. Well, it shows this has been done. But for some reason, yeah. So if for some reason inside your room documents, they aren't showing completed, you can come into the e-signature area by clicking your initials and just say switch to e-signature and switch to e-signature. So I could switch back to rooms, but I want to see if I can sync these. Of course, I'm not sure how to sync them. Oh. It's really odd. I apologize, everyone. So we're going to just take a drastic approach. They didn't show up inside of my rooms, so I switched into e-signature and I click manage. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click download because I want to download the documents that I actually have. I'm going to click download. It's going to start down here. It came down as a zip file, and we're just going to open that up. And here's my listing documents in here, my signed ones are in here. I'm going to switch back to rooms now, and I'm going to import them. So these are my signed documents, and I'm going to import them, and they're going to come in as a PDF. Oh, there they are. So this is what they should look like after it's been signed. It's going to have a green sign check mark, just like that. And I'm going to go into command now, and I'm going to exclusive listing agreement. I'm going to select to attach files from Docusign. I could also do it directly from my computer. I'm going to choose the working folder, and it's going to be room docs. And now it's going to ask me in this drop down, which item do I want to put for exclusive listing agreement? So I'm going to click on here. Oh my gosh. Do not do this. Details. I'm going to sync this transaction, update. Documents. See, guys, it's not just you, it's me too. All right, I just did a sync and wrote back in, and I'll have the list here. So here's the exclusive right of sale listing agreement. We don't have the residential listing form signed, so we can't do that one. We don't have the seller's property disclosure signed, so we can't do that one. But we do have the real property information and agreement for sellers of real estate. There it is. So the copy of county tax records, you can pull that from the Charlotte County Appraiser or the Sarasota. Each county is going to have their own different place where you can pull tax records from. Same thing with the deed. So if I were to, oh, I closed that. So I'm going to go back into the Charlotte County Appraiser. Oh, I just did the wrong thing. So I'm in the Charlotte County Appraiser, and I'm going to go into this last one from 2015. This is going to pull me into the deed. So I can see that the deed is here. And I want this printed up. Let's make sure this is the right one. This is not. Huh. Oh yeah, this is the correct one. So I'm going to go to the print button up here. And it's going to turn it into a PDF for me. Come on. And I'm going to click the download button up here. I'm going to go back into command. So I downloaded the copy of the deed. Right now it's set on to attach files from Docusign. I'm going to switch this to my computer. Go back to the deed, click browse. There it is. I'll click open. And I just attach the deed. Tax record. Tax record is tax information. We want the tax record to show that they are paid up on their taxes. Now I'm going to use this. I would use this page here to show that paid, to show that it's all paid up. To do that, I just go to file print, and then save as a PDF. Back to command, tax record, browse, tax record, open. Then I would get the home warranty and all that, the rest of the required things in here. And then I'd hit submit to Market Center. So submit to NC to get approved. Yep. And that's when you will go through the approval process for compliance. This is going to be the same method through under contract and the closing paperwork. The closing paperwork, you are not going to be using Docusign for. You'll be given everything. So you're just going to scan it to your computer and then upload it that way. But let's talk about under contract for a second. You're going to be getting the sales contract from the buyer's side. You're going to get the receipt from escrow deposit from the escrow company. The MLS printout change to pending, you're going to go get that from the MLS. The seller's property disclosure, this is the signed by both parties in the under contract folder. The wire fraud disclosure, we already have that, so I can go ahead and click to Docusign, Docs, wire fraud. Now I want to go over what if someone, when they send you a PDF. So we're sitting here, they send us an offer, great. We're going to accept it. So we need to have it signed by our clients. I'm going to click add. I'm going to choose computer. Now I need just trying to find like a okay, we're just going to use the vacant land contract. We'll just pretend this is pretending this is a residential contract instead, but it's a vacant land contract because I don't know where my 1 star. So, okay, so we have a contract uploaded here. This is what they sent us now. So I'm like, okay, well, you know what? We don't like the price you're offering us. Okay. So I need to send this directly into an envelope. I'm going to click the check mark, create an offer, or create an envelope. I'm going to say this is the offer. I'll say offer 1. Then recipient. So notice that the pre-tagged roles aren't here. When you upload a PDF, the form boxes don't exist on it. So there are no pre-tagged roles. So you're going to either choose room participant or email address. I suggest using email address. And I'm going to put in I'll type another message in here, and I'm going to click next. Now, this is the area that you're going to be doing most work on PDFs inside the editing area. So the purchase price says 900,000. Well, that's nowhere near what we have it listed at. So I'm going to click on that, pre-fill tools, line. I'm going to draw that line through here. And I'm going to put my text right below it. I'm going to send we'll say 1 1.2 million. Okay. I want your earnest money to be bigger too. This deposit is going to be next. So what I'm doing right now actually is I'm preparing to send this back to the buyer side. And I'm going to put in.
Hypothetically, you already set down with your client.
Yep.
Their counter offer. Now you're sending that counter.
Correct. Yep. So this is the counter offer now. And what we're going to do is I'm going to be dragging the initial boxes now. So let's say these are the only 2 corrections we wanted to make. I'm going to go to standard fields. I'm going to drag initial boxes over initial. I'm just going to send this over. This is where it gets a little hazy for me. I don't remember with counteroffers, but this is how you add the elements. I don't know if you have them set, like have your people initial this first, don't have them sign it yet, just initial the changes, then send it back over to the buyer side for them to initial the changes, and then send it back to us to have my client sign. That's what I think. There may be a more simplified version in there. Ask other active agents, they can tell you for sure. And just ask specifically about counter agreements inside of Docusign and how they handle it. Because it's just a regular counter offer. I just don't know for sure how to do that. But that's just how you drag in and cross out things. So any corrections that you have to be made, our broker, Murray Coleman, wants us to do it like this. So it leaves like a history on there. Then I click send. Sent. There it is. Continue. Start. Initial. Whatever it was to this one. And then I'll click finish. No, thank you. All right, you finished signing. Let's see if this goes through correctly. We're going to give it a few more seconds, and we're just going to chat about it for a second. Is everything making sense, Haven?
Yeah.
And the 14 invisible people? Good. So it is very, very simple to use. There's only certain portions you're going to be using. We've gone over corrections, how to send envelopes, how to fill out documents. It's the same process for every document. Let's try it. There we go. It says completed. Yay! And then I would, so let's see, where is my, I'll send this. I'm going to send this back to the other agent now inside of Docusign. And then I just say email address, and they're going to do receives a copy instead, because it's up to their side to put in the boxes for their people. We're only concerned about our clients and customers. Right. Okay, that is a deep dive into Docusign. We got all the information. Now you just got to figure out how, or find out how to properly fill them out, but you have the how on how to do it.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And all you Zoomers out there, we, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help. Thanks, everybody. Bye.